challenges we all face from dawn to dawn. You're intelligent, I think, and you should face issue. But you're behaving like a moron, cussing me for way I born, but you pipe a hand no water. You pay too much for butter. Take your steel beam and go. The terrible school system is such a bloody problem. Take your steel beam and go. Agriculture's in a state, planning is inadequate. Take your steel beam and go. The northern and southern idol, the two kings in a bubble. We know, we like it so.
Get in. Open up your eyes. Live early tonight. What is it? The 19th of March?
So instead of displaying impatience, pull yourself and give the fella a chance. How the hell you could say ONR go do better? Bet we send you back Grenada in a drum. We and Georgie going to put it right together.
On your laptop or your
we have freedom and freedom. Plenty roti, plenty rum. Hospitals have no limit. The wrong paper they using.
Take your steel beam and go.
Public transportation is an abomination. Take your steel beam and go. Well, food, clothes and rent is proof. Cost of living gone through the roof. Take your steel beam and go. Classified information for personal gain is common. We know, but we like it so.
You ever read Animal Farm? You ever read Animal Farm to the end and see the big fat pigs in the end, what they become and how they corrupt the vision for a better world and they've become what they held in contempt? This is the fight that we face every single day in this country. It don't make sense. It just don't make noise. Sophia Figueroa Leon, a dear friend of mine, tagged me in a post today by Marcia Brave Boy. A one-eyed man bouncing on a trampoline could see that what they did was chop up a video and edit it to sound different to what I said. Sophia tagged me, one boy Phil, like what Marcia say makes sense. And I had to just watch Sophia. Sophia come here from Venezuela. She see Venezuela collapse. She see it collapse, so she know. She know how a nation fails. She knows how a nation fails. And she want, and even Sophia can't. She can't see sense. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make noise. It just doesn't make noise. UNC panicking, so they're pelting money. Some sufferers. When I call Stark a sufferer, wasn't insulted. But the UNC, as usual, like the PNM, just buy poor people for a song. Just buy poor people for a song. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make noise. That's all that happened. Just gotta make noise. That's the truth. Look at it and see what's going on. Look at what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. Our reality is scary. When I say I wasn't disrespecting this boy, let him do it thing. Every time he posts a video is to show he's a sufferer. So if I say the UNC using him as a sufferer, how is that a thing? Go and check who's sharing the videos. A set of UNC friggin' noisemakers. What Daniel Shim asked, what are my thoughts about the president? The president was sworn in at the headquarters of the National Carnival, and I think that makes sense. because that was just a show. That was theater. That didn't have to be anything else. Shari Wilson posted 2 hours ago, the most consistent trait in the life of this government over the last 2.5 years is a most creative ability to blame others for problems and challenges that they were elected to solve. Shari got 1 like. One like. Shari got 1 like. And Shari had stand up outside her house, slapping the wall with a cutlass. What happened by Rowley? Rowley, what happened by Wama? And get like a jagabat. 35,000 likes. Because it ought to make sense. It just had to make noise. I share Shari, a screenshot Shari, and I share it. 1 like to the most comprehensively sensible statement that I have heard on the condition of this country for a long time. The most consistent trait in the life of this government over the last 2.5 years is a most creative ability to blame others for problems and challenges that they were elected to solve. Go to the head of the class. Go to the head of the class, Shari. That's how you say it. That's how you talk. How do we get a nation to talk that? We ain't talking that. Rowley threw out a thing. He went to open View Fort. He said it cost $44 million to build 44 apartments. Then Marlene McDonald come and say the mortgage is $650,000. So the people of Trinidad and Tobago subsidize the rest of that. Nobody asks a question. Rowley blame Manning and say Manning caused the thing to slow down. That become a shit talk and a old talk. Hazel Manning jumped out herself and put out a release of her own. And she come out now to call out Rowley on Rowley's statement. And nobody asked Hazel about her husband's track record. And all of these people who living in squalor and sufferation in this country, that fighting up for political old noise and old talk, not realizing that they getting robbed every single time and feel like, you know what, this idea that we want change, but we will treat anybody who stand up to bring change for this country, we will treat them like they have to perform. They have to jump through hoops. They have to do it our way or no way, or we're not interested. And that's how we do it. And we tear them apart. We mash down the actual people who try. You hear what Sparrow say? Sparrow sang that in 1981. Sparrow sang it in 1981. This fight for Trinidad and Tobago going on a long time. This fight has started now. The majority of people who live in abroad, the number of people who live in abroad who left Trinidad didn't leave Trinidad because they wanted to. They left Trinidad because they had no choice. Somebody tell me tonight that Petrotrin costs this country $30 million a day. In a country that spends $50 million a day. Somebody sent me from Jeopardy. The 5 clues on Jeopardy was the seat of the Prime Minister in Trinidad, Whitehall. This red bird is the national bird of the country, scarlet ibis. This place is where the ships come, so let's come off and tour the island of Tobago. Cruise ships. Cruise ship port. This Spanish music is sung every year. I shared it on my page. Param. And then this is the name of the capital city, the what of Spain? Port of Spain. And I have to say, of those 5 clues that were on Jeopardy for Trinidad and Tobago, of those 5 clues, of the 5 clues that Jeopardy told the world is Trinidad and Tobago, 3 are now lies. Whitehall is in ruins. We've eaten the scarlet ibis into extinction. And no boats, no ships, cruise ships, banana ships, nothing landing in Tobago. Of the 5 clues on Jeopardy about Trinidad and Tobago, realize. Today we swore in a president, the third president in quick succession that cannot live in president's house. Why you think? Can't live in president's house because president's house collapsed. President's house has collapsed. And we can't fix president's house. We can't sell president's house. We can't give president's house away. We can't shut it down. So we rent a roof from a P&M financier, yeah. Because I got a phone call today that called, the heart still gets a check from UDCOT. He was getting a check every month during the UNC term, and he gets a check now. This is Trinidad and Tobago. This is your country. To all the people who quick to jump out themselves and attack me, check yourself, you know. Check what you standing for. Check what you standing for. Check what really going on in this country. Pandey, Manning, Kamala, Rowley, $1 trillion. What we doing? What we doing? It doesn't make sense. It just had to make noise. That's all it had to do. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we are beyond saving. We are beyond saving. We get caught up in bullshit so easily. The UNC know. The UNC know how to take financier money. The same calco that making money under the PNM, that in court under suspicion of corruption under the PNM, was UNC blue-eyed child. And all you still think that this is a real country? You still think this is a real country? When the people who suffering in this country, who catching ass, who can't get water, can't get job, can't get education, can't get mortgage, can't get credit, can't get loan, police service don't work, court system don't work, education system don't work, healthcare don't work. When those people still getting caught up in bullshit, somebody tell me, Jim boy Philip, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Look, I wear this shirt. I was going to the gym. 2015, I ran as an independent to remind the nation that they had nothing the UNC could have offered me that I was interested in. I remember when Gary Griffith was Minister of National Security and Kamala was firing him. You know why Kamala was firing Gary? Because David West accused the Attorney General of offering him a job, a state position. This is a living definition of misbehavior in public office. I don't know how this thing taking so long. David West, who is now the Police Complaints Authority chairman, accused the Attorney General, then Anand Ramlogan, of trying to bribe him to change his witness statement in another matter before the courts in exchange for that job. And Gary get fired for not being willing to lie that Anand had asked him to call David West. That was the whole thing, you know. When Kamala flies, she drunken ass back into Trinidad. And to the people who think I'm waiting to cut a deal with Kamala, only hear my words clear, you know. When Kamala flies, she drunken ass back into Trinidad. She didn't come here to represent the people. She came here because the public had already fired Anand. So she had to fire Anand because her government was going to fall. But she fired Anand and she fired Gary. She fired Gary because Gary didn't listen to cabinet ministers begging him to toe cabinet line and lie. Hear this. The Friday that it come to a head, I was told, I was Gary's communication advisor, I was told there could be a benefit for me if I distance myself from Gary. Went Panorama Sunday to find out my name in the papers that I am to be made Minister of Communication. So Gary Griffith see me and tell me, you sell me out. I say, no, papi. I sell out nobody. I have no idea what that is about. And that's the kind of bullshit games these people play. And these people who get involved with Kamla, Monilal, Suraj, Ramlogan, and the rest of these animal farm pigs, all I know, all they're dealing with, you know. Marcia Brave Boy, who chopping videos and editing them to make me sound like I say different thing than what I say, to change the conversation. Instead of you and me talking issues tonight, I talking this because it don't have to make sense. It just had to make noise. Marcia lives on crumbs. Marcia lives on crumbs. Hiding. She said the PNM want to kill her. She said Maxi Coffee do a jarry on her and want to send spirits to lash her. She said I working with the PNM to send spirits behind her. How I working with Colm members to get Maxi Coffee, to get Keith Rowley fired so Colm could be Prime Minister. The level of bullshit that I have to deal with listening to these crazy, crazy people. This is what anybody who stands up for the country has to put up with. No political party is talking with you what the PEP is talking with you. But Arlene Portia Grant, who is my darling still, has to get distracted. She has to get distracted by Stark and not remember that the issue is the country have cancer. The country have cancer. Racist, corrupt cancer. So poor Arlene, lovely soul, have to get tied up in that. Nikki Lee had to get tied up in that. Nikki Lee have to forget that it is the PNM that called the Indian community in this country under Eric Williams a recalcitrant minority, created URP and DUE to take labor off the farm, to shut down food production so that financiers could import food and charge you all 3 times the price. This is where the conversation has to be. But we're not having this conversation. We're having conversations about if Philip Alexander is arrogant or if he's cussed too much. Listen, I am fighting what Pandey called the parasitic oligarchy, what Manning called Mr. Big. I'm fighting the PNM, I'm fighting UNC, I'm fighting the Bankers Association. I'm caught with financiers on all sides, fighting for my country. We've put out policies that if they were implemented would revolutionize and change the lives of every citizen in this country. But instead of having that conversation, we have to have little jackasses coming on the threads to interfere with the conversation because they feel are Indian enough or black enough to be asking it. And that's all it takes. It don't have to make sense. It just had to make noise. That's all. Where we at? Where we at? So all of a sudden, UNC, Youth Arm, promoting Stark. It's like when Suzette Lauer left the PEP. They jump on her like measles. Marcia Brave Boy, Anna Munsami, Alan Karim. I mean, it is a handful of sickness that represents the UNC. But they're very mobilized. And they know how to fool people. You see, if I have to block somebody, it's because they've come into the conversation swinging their fists and attacking me. So I can't stop them and say, hey, Kamala spent $300 billion. How did it affect you? How did it change lives in Trinidad and Tobago? Pandey Manning, Kamala Rowley, $1 trillion. Yet our police service is in a total mess. Our court system is a total mess. Our entire country is a broken criminal mess, despite having 1 decade, $1 trillion spent by these people. What has been done for the country? What has been done for the country? Check yourself. Check where we are. Enrique Tiwari wants to know, do I have proof that Stark was paid by the UNC? No, Enrique, I don't have proof. Like everything else, I am not in government, I am not in UNC, I am not in the opposition. I can only work what was told to me and the evidence that is before me. And if all of a sudden, a gentleman start proposing that Kamala is an option, it's either Stark went mad or it's true that they pay him. And I met with Stark. No, he kind of half cracking truth, but he's a decent guy. And I don't blame him. Hear me? I don't blame him for trying to fix himself, if in fact he did get paid. But the point is, this is not what you want to get paid for. Because you're making your own life worse. And that's the problem. You cannot move from the madness of Manning to the madness of Pandey, back to the madness of Manning, to the madness of Kamala, and come to the madness of Rowley, and contemplate the madness of Kamala again. That is insanity. The lists that you all throw at each other, the lists of corruption that you all throw at each other, doesn't help if you don't unite and say prosecute all. If you are saying Lego PNM because UNC do it too, we do it. Arlene Hossain asked why I don't team up with Stark. I thought I did. Stark is a good boy. I have no problem with him. And when he cooled down and he boiled down, Stark know where to find me. When UNC finished with him, Stark know where to find me. Up to now, I ain't attack him back. I see him for his impetuousness and his youth. Marcia, brave boy. That's a different one. That's a different one. That is a succubus. Marcia, brave boy, is a blight on this country. She needs, the UNC have to explain what they give her a work permit for. What essential service Marcia, brave boy, doing in this country other than making UNC confusion, talking a pile of stupidness, bringing a set of mad race and religion into the conversation. That's what Marcia brave boys do. Masquerading as a journalist. When you think of Manning, what do you remember? When you think of him, what do you remember? You see, we forget. We have Rowley, so we forget Kamala. This morning I share a set of videos and people say, oh good, I forget Anil. I forget that mad-ass health minister who was cussing people. I forget. Everybody forget. You forget when Kamala appoint Warner to fire out Gibbs and Iwatsky. Fire them. Pay them off and send them on their way. Because Gibbs and Iwatsky wasn't in the corruption business. So when they start to investigate ministers, Kamala panic. And explain to the nation, Kamala, explain to Trinidad and Tobago why Gibbs and Iwatsky was fired. Explain. If you care about fighting crime, the only Minister of National Security that was succeeding in the fight of crime against crime was Gary Griffith. Why did you fire Gary Griffith? You want to talk about Rowley. But this is the truth. We could have fixed this country, but Kamala had no business in this. Ask Kamala, why have we never shut down the nation's borders? Why haven't we secured the nation's borders? Kamala. Kamala. Ask those questions. Because we need to know. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot put God out your thoughts and come back and put Kamala. Remember when Suraj Rambajan went on CNNG and fire Fazil? Chad Harilal asked me, what are we doing about it? We are building a political party. We've had 45 meetings since we formed, plus 13 public meetings. Ask any of the members here, and they'll guide and direct you. You all remember when Suraj Rambachan went to be interviewed by Fazir on CNMG to fire him? You remember that? You remember that? We cannot continue to get distracted by all noise. We can't. The truth of the matter is, if we don't fix it, it's gone. We have the last legs. It's terminal and dying. Sunday, shops are marvel. Families walking about. 2 men rushing Hacker. Gun in your face. Hacker is deep inside shops and marvel. People and security all around here. It reached to that. It reached to that. That you can't go out for dinner with your family on a Sunday evening. You can't. But you see, at some point, common sense will prevail. You cannot free fools from the chains that they revere. That is a saying. I didn't say it. But that's a truth. We have to decide. The thing that keeps me going. The things that keeps me going is that more than half of the population don't vote. So I speak to them because 75% of the population say they want nothing to do with Kamala in 2015. And almost 75% said the same thing about Rowley. So I know that there is a large amount of people outside there who not in this bullshit, who unhappy about how the country is run. There are a lot of people in Trinidad and Tobago that want Trinidad to be better. And they've never had an opportunity because the madness of the change exchange has kept everybody like mushrooms in the dark, fed bullshit. We get nothing. We have nothing of substance or value in this country. Nothing. We are asking the pitch rate. Where's that money? Who gets that money? How come the pitch make money don't make it to the budget? How come? Today, in America, Cambridge Analytica is being used to bring down Donald Trump. Cambridge Analytica made world fame. You know how? I'll tell you this. Give me a minute. I want to give you that. You gotta get this and understand how famous Trinidad is. This is what we're famous for. I want to give it to you now. And give me a second. I had to get it open. So much things happening as usual at the same time. Cambridge Analytica. If you don't know what's going on in the world now, Donald Trump, it's that. It's that in Trinidad. A project that Cambridge Analytica carried out in Trinidad in 2013, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, brings all the elements in this story together. This is not a story in the world news about Trinidad, you know. This is a story in the world news about Donald Trump. This is a story in the world news about how to mash up an election, how to use social media, Facebook international Facebook involved, had to ban Cambridge Analytica right now from Facebook. A project that Cambridge Analytica carried out in Trinidad in 2013 brings all the elements of this story together. Just as Robert Mercer began his negotiation with SCL boss Alexander Nix about an acquisition, SCL, that was a company that was involved with the then High Commissioner to Canada, that was coming to build a hospital in Trinidad that collapsed in a bacchanal of corruption and confusion. SCL was retained by several government ministers in Trinidad and Tobago. This is 2013. They say 2, they say 3, they say a couple. A project that Cambridge Analytica carried out in Trinidad in 2013 brings all the elements in this story together. Just as Robert Mercer began his negotiation with SCL boss Alexander Nix about an acquisition, SCL was retained by several government ministers in Trinidad and Tobago. The brief involved developing a micro-targeting program for the governing party of the time, the UNC. And Aggregate IQ, the same company involved in delivering Brexit for vote leave, was brought in to build the targeting platform, but it gets worse. David said the standard SCL Cambridge Analytical method is that you get a government contract from the ruling party, and this pays for the political work, that is misbehavior in public office. And if this was a real country, everybody from Kamla go back would have been in jail. Because they took public funds disguised as public contracts to do political mischief. Understand, misbehavior in public office. All they want to put Darumai back in office, that capable of this kind of madness. Kamla, you send Marcia, Brave Boy, and others to attack me. I will expose you from the tip of your toes to the top of your head for people to see what you did on your watch in this country. David said the standard Cambridge Analytica method is that you get a government contract from the ruling party, and this pays for the political work. This is actually in the article and not my word. So it's often some bullshit health project that's just a cover for getting the minister re-elected. But in this case, our government contracts were with Trinidad's National Security Council, Jack freaking Warner. Jack Warner. The National Security Council that was headed by the Prime Minister and the National Security Minister was engaged in subterfuge to use public funds for political mischief. The security work was to be the prize for the political work. Documents seen by the Observer shows that this was a proposal to capture citizens' browsing history en masse. Recording phone conversations. This is the government, the UNC, that went to tell people about spying by the PNN. Bring a company to spy on everybody's phone call. There was a proposal to capture citizens' social media browsing history en masse, recording phone conversations and applying natural language processing to the recorded voice data to construct a national police database, complete with scores for each citizen on their propensity to commit crime. Well, fire truck me. The plan put to the minister was Minority Report. It was pre-crime. And the fact that Cambridge Analytica is now working inside the Pentagon is, I think, absolutely terrifying, said David. The details of the Trinidad project finally unlocked the mystery that was Aggregate IQ. Trinidad was SCL's first project using big data for micro-targeting before the firm was acquired by Mercer. It was the model that Mercer was buying into, and it brought together all the players. The Cambridge psychologist Alexander Krogan, Aggregate IQ, Chris Wiley, and 2 other individuals who would play a role in this story. Mark Gettelson, a focus group expert who had previously worked for the Liberal Democrats, and Thomas Borick, the son of Victoria Borick, the the Conservative Member of Parliament for Kensington. This is a global piece of madness, you know. The connectivity that is the heart of globalization can be exploited by states with hostile intent to further their aims. The risks at stake are profound and represent a fundamental threat to our sovereignty. Alex Younger, head of MI6, December 2016. It is not MI6's job to warn of internal threats. It was a very strange speech. Was it one branch of the intelligence services sending a shot across the bows of another? Or was it pointed at Theresa May's government? Does she know something she's not telling us? Senior intelligence analyst, April 2017. Understand what you just heard. And that took place in this country under the United National Congress. Brought a company whose job it was to record every single conversation of every single person in this country and put a score to your voice and add you to a list that scored you in what they believe was your propensity to commit crime. That is the United National Congress. This is the madness of this country. This is the madness of Trinidad and Tobago. I asked, when Hazel Manning put out her release, and I put out one, I said only in Trinidad and Tobago would the wife of a corrupt megalomaniac prime minister be able to put out a release defending his atrocious record in the face of an attack by his successor, and the people not remind her of the legacy of the criminal she was defending. See, it ought to make sense. It just had to make noise. Hazel Manning had the unmitigated gall, if not sheer audacity, to issue a call for peace in the PNM amid allegations by Keith Rowley that Patrick Manning abused his office to punish him, and by extension the people waiting for government housing in St. James. Brian Sow, take that, grab that and gone. Like that is a conversation. What Rowley say about Manning is not my concern. Bring Manning and Rowley to justice, that is. How do we get distracted by bullshit so easily? And her request for forgiveness and for everyone to get along, she forgot the matter of the outstanding hundreds of billions of dollars missing on her husband's watch. As if this was all some people's national movement Tea Party we were discussing, and not corruption and misbehavior by elected office holders. Hazel Manning knows her husband led a corrupt government. She knows that it was nepotism that gave her a state education and then a ministerial position. She knows that he blew through billions of dollars through stunts like the infamous PNM Scholarship Fund, where PNM members were given millions of dollars. There's a current sitting member in the Arima Council Regional Corporation, Louis Leasing daughter-in-law. Her husband is the head of the Trinidad and Tobago Publishers and Broadcasters Association forever. Lauren Lizama Leasing got $500,000. $500,000. To this day, we don't know what she studied and if she ever paid back Trinidad and Tobago. But you can't ask. You can't ask. Because if you ask, the trolls come out to attack. The PNM and the UNC have destroyed this country. And you have to wake up to that fact and ignore the bullshit, ignore the paid talking heads, ignore the noisemakers. You have to. Because if you don't wake up to reality, we're dead. As a country, we fail. She knows that he blew through billions of dollars through stunts like the infamous PNM Scholarship Fund, the madness of the $12 billion lost on the gas to liquids Petrotrin fiasco, and the house he wanted to build for his spiritual advisor, his seeress. So how does she expect this peace to happen? By rewriting history? Of course, Rowley is no different, and nothing he says can be taken on face value. This is a man who hid fully grown children from the nation for 31 years. But that doesn't mean the enemy of my enemy becomes my friend. It does not make the attempted theft of the home mortgage bank, land aid, or the madness that was Milshiv disappear. They are both enemies of the truth, both creatures of a corrupt and incompetent PNM, and both traitors to the people's trust. Keith Rowley called Patrick Manning a crook, said he had the most corrupt cabinet in our nation's history. This was prior to the mayhem of Kamla Prasad-Bisesa-led raid on the decency of this country. But stick a pin in that for a minute. Patrick Manning accused Rowley of, among other things, redirecting public funds to his own benefit in Tobago and misplacing $10 million at Cleaver Heights. For her part, and despite all of this, the suddenly outspoken Hazel sat quiet then as she was happy to sit quiet now, happy to live out her life buoyed by the benefit and comfort of accusations, allegations, and glaring inconsistencies that have never been answered. Provoked into anger though, she calls for everyone to hold their corner through threatening Rowley with tongue-in-cheek barbs as if she was some political gangster. Really? This is where the people must come in. We have to ask these questions and have them answered. We have to find where the hundreds of billions of dollars stolen from this nation on all of these people's watches went. And besides repatriating the missing public funds so desperately needed, bring the crooked and their conspirators to justice, especially if it includes government ministers and prime ministers. And it would be supremely ironic if that included Hazel too. But we listened to this, and Brian saw my partner, but he grabbed this and he went. Like this, Rowley accusing Manning and Hazel accusing Rowley. Like that's the conversation. That could never be the conversation. The conversation has to be about planting missiles and cocaine in Sadiq Bash water tank. When Prakash Ramadan told the nation in the parliament about when he was called as a lawyer, he wasn't in politics then. Sadiq Bash called him, he was away. He said, police are on their way to my house and I've been told that there is cocaine and missiles in my water tanks. That is what passed for politics in this country. Brian Manning got a gun license in 24 hours. No rules for him, no procedure. $9 million, same Brian Manning for a basketball competition, not a ball bounce yet. The $2 million flag that Gary Hunt flew in the National Stadium. $2 million for a flag. That was 20 years ago. And today, it's still too much money for a flag. All we have left of that $2 million is a pole sticking up out of the ground like a middle finger. Only remember when we had pulled Gary Hunt down and he was going to get fired for this? Because he came on the TV and he said, all you don't know the price of national pride. And me and the people from Fire One Fireworks, we're going to build 16 more of these flags. 16 more of these $2 million flags. You know what saved Gary Hunt? That was the weekend Anya Ayongchi porn video drop. Anya and Miss Japan and she husband. That was the day her porn video dropped and everybody get distracted. That saved Gary Hunt. The $50 million boat that never float. What it is with Colm Imbert, our money and freaking boats. Today we find out the Galleon's passage that's supposed to be here in a week. Still in Japan. How is it coming here? Scotty going to beam it up and beam it down? It's still in Japan. John Rahal, as Minister of Agriculture, leased a house and parcel of land belonging to Caroni 1975 Limited to his sister. John Rahal, as Minister of Health, gave his sons the contract to provide drugs for the CEDAP program. Only remember Super Farm? We don't remember. Patrick Manning rented a house from Lenny Saint brother for $38,000 per month while the palace was building. You know what not on this list? You know what not on this list? The Speaker of the House under Manning built a building opposite the Oval and the country just rented to make a court. Senator people. They just rent that millions of dollars. Faris building, One Alexandra Place. When Faris as lawyer signed that, that was a criminal act. The parliament was already dissolved. There was no government. There was nobody to legally sign that. And the only reason that we didn't tear up that lease that Faris and Manning signed for One Alexandra Place is because they put it in Chandra Sharma hand the following week, and he just as corrupt as them. And they come and spend millions of dollars to outfit a building that was already outfitted. Not one for you, one for me. One for you, one for me. PNM chairman Franklin Khan's wife gets 60 million contract days before the 2010 election. Today I find out Galbaran Singh's daughter still getting contract under the PNM, was getting contract under the UNC. Calco getting contract under the PNM, was getting contract under the UNC. Only getting played. Only getting played. And all the sufferers who here to attack me for the $5 and the $10 and whatever the UNC throwing on the ground for you to bend down and pick up, hear my words. You are cutting your own throat, and like Judas, you will hang yourself for them pieces of silver. We are not here to play with these political parties. We are here to expose them for the madness and the bullshit that this country has had to put up with for 55 years. If Kamala, Manning and Rowley alone spend $720,000 million, where the ass is that money? What do we have to show for it? Every building Manning bill. Every building Manning bill and everything Kamala bill, we still owing the Chinese or the Brazilians for. So when the ass our $720 billion gone, all of you who think you come in here to attack me tonight for pieces of silver, or they're like Judas, and you will hang yourself. You will hang yourself politically, because there is nothing in the PNM or the UNC for this country. Nothing. The same jackass Mali McDonald who went up for the opening of Viewfort, tell those people you now have a legal responsibility to vote in Port of Spain South, to chain up poor black people's mind, to tell them, I just give you a house, make sure to vote PNM next time election roll around. You see the madness that takes place in this country? Who do you turn to say, look, government ministers, PNM and UNC, using public funds for political mischief and political gain? How do we get them before the courts? They will take forever, because the courts don't work. In this puppy show land, in this royal, imperial, majestic banana republic of do what the hell you like land, nothing works. So all those who think that you don't have to make sense and just come at me and attack me to make all noise, miss me with your bullshit. Look around you. See what you and your family putting up with. PNM, UNC, same madness in all your house. People dying in this country by the thousands. Not one government thought yet to secure the nation's borders. Why? Because we've had drug lords and drug barons in high public office in this country. We have had the ignobility of a government financier as a treasurer of a company that the state just bailed out $25 billion. How come Bontai never made jail? How come the home mortgage bank fiasco never went before a court? But this country spent $25 billion to bail out Pandey and Manning friends in Clico and CL Financial. This is a mad-ass country. And little sufferers taking pieces of silver to come and attack me. Me? My job is to inform, educate and empower you, jackass. If you look around at this country, look around at your living condition. Look around at what is there for you. When you join the police service and you reach inside the police service, you wake up to the reality of the police service. Go and ask all the new recruits when they find out what the job is really about. This country is broken. We have court matters that take 17, 20, 30 years before the courts. That is insanity. Nothing works. Healthcare is a failure. Education is a failure. We just had an entire school run downtown to beat up one another. We are a mad nation. And we get distracted too easily by bullshit. We get distracted too easily by noise. The first political party in this country that gives you 21 policies at a glance in its first year. Make home ownership for all a reality. Zero deposit, zero interest for 30 years for first-time homeowners. Jackasses understand what that means. That you could be mopping the floor in a freaking KFC for $2,250 a month. You could buy a $100,000 house. Why you can't do that now? Why Kamala don't know how to do that? Why Rowley don't know how to do that? But $650,000 for a mortgage for a piece of house, they spend $1 million for finances to build. And it's all a way to catch. And all they're taking that and coming here to pelt stone at me. What if I stop? What if I stop? Prior to me starting, the conversation was roti, race and noise. Kamala pelting bullshit at Rowley and Rowley pelting bullshit at Kamala. And you have to listen to Colm Imbert calling Barry Padarat a fairy. To listen to this fat jackass, your minister of sport who can't climb up set of steps. Listening to him inferring that people on the other side gay and bullying one another. That's what you was taking. You were accepting that as parliament. And the Progressive Empowerment Party came along and changed the conversation. All of a sudden, you didn't know you were supposed to have an ombudsman. It is I who lit them on fire. 2 weeks later, they appoint an ombudsman. All of a sudden, we have a financial ombudsman. All of a sudden, it is the conversation in the papers that the people talking about cancelling fees. Who brought that to you? Not Kamala. Kamala gets cheap donation from the Bankers Association, not Rowley. He gets his. It is the Progressive Empowerment Party that told you regulate the financial sector. Make sure that the people get interest on their money and cancel those bullshit fees. We have a country where the banks are making billions of dollars in fees. So fireburn you. You put your $100 in the bank now, you go away for a week, you come back, your money gone. That's Trinidad and Tobago. That's Trinidad and Tobago for you now. Look at your country. The third wealthiest nation in the Western world, America, Canada, Trinidad. Nothing works in Trinidad. Nothing. If you get sick tonight and end up in a hospital for all the bullshit you come to pelt stone at me, you could dead. Before somebody even come to look at you, and if they look at you and they see and you have a most basic problem, they have no most basic medicine, you could dead. You, your family, and your loved ones, you're taking pieces of silver to come and throw that bullshit at me? Marcia Brave Boy is to leave Trinidad and go back to Grenada. That's where she's supposed to be doing her madness. Not here. But for those who think that politics is just bacchanal and old noise, you're cutting your own throat. Fighting me is not a victory. You don't win if I lose. If either the PNM or the UNC end up back in government, you lose. That is heads you lose, tails you lose. Without the Progressive Empowerment Party, they have nothing for this country but more madness, more murder, more mayhem, more mismanagement, corruption, theft and bacchanal. But they go drunk on your ass. They're going to make it possible for you to get drunk and chip down the road. Why not a Bamsi? You see, I talk like that so you understand. I want to break it down to the base level. This is a country where we've known for 30 years that the SEA is child abuse, but neither political party has done anything to fix the education sector other than build schools. We have a school on the corner of Polkaroo Street and Tragrit Road that has been fully paid for. It was the Woodbrook Primary School a day before Trinidad get independence, and it stopped dead. You know why? Because it's a corner property on Tragrit Road. And wait it out, you know. Wait it out. Somewhere else, a shock doctrine savior will give the country a property. Look, no man, bring these Woodbrook children here, no man. I'm not tired to them bad so they could end up with the corner property on Tragrit Road. Wait for it. Wait for it. And you getting distracted by bullshit. Want to pelt old noise at me? Start. You could make 1 million videos, brother. You will still be suffering PNM, UNC, PNM, UNC. So wake the frig up, brother, and come back to the PEP. Because if they have any chance of you having a life and real relatives, it's the Progressive Empowerment Party. Because if we go, if I stop, if this conversation change, is more jam for your ass again and anybody that look like you. And if you think alike, close your eyes, think back a year ago. Think back. Every single election in this country has been an election to vote out a government. Why? Why? Not one single election has been a celebration of policy, programs, and ideas that will rescue the people. Not one. People in Morvan, Beetham, Laventille, and Sealots suck salt, whether it is PNM or UNC, same salt for them. When it is time to lock down for crime, that's where they have to go. Send the police in East Port of Spain. Send it in Bagatelle. Send it in La Puerta. Send the police in Rich Plain. Send them down in Carnage. Police don't do roadblock inside Goodwood Park. Police don't do roadblock inside Valsade. The truth of the matter is the country is broken, and the people most at risk are the people most easily fooled and deceived to come at me. The only person standing up for those desperately poor in this country. You tell me one thing in Trinidad and Tobago that works, and I will switch off this video and I will never do another video again in life. Not one. You tell me one thing that works in Trinidad and Tobago, and I will stop tonight because I don't mind. I'll stop now. You tell me the hospital that works, the school, the public school that works. You tell me. Tell me. Tell me why it is easier for financiers to get land, to build strip malls, and put up TGI Fridays and Ruby Tuesdays. Tell me why that is easier than for a farmer to get land to grow food in Trinidad and Tobago. Why? So Hadco, Amco, Massey could continue to import. ADM, all of them, and they know, and they all know that you can't import lettuce cheaper than we can grow lettuce. You can't import tomato cheaper than we can grow tomato. You can't import zaboka, mango, breadfruit, guava, orange, Portugal cheaper than we can grow it here. Pawpaw is growing in this country like if this whole country make out of pawpaw. And the biggest used, multi-use product in the world right now, because when you go in the grocery and you buy raisin and all those things to put in sweet bread, 90% of them is pawpaw. Cut in a different shape, colored and flavored. Trust me when I tell you this. A progressive empowerment party government will turn this nation around just by reducing the cost of food. A progressive empowerment party government will turn this nation around just by making education functional so your children coming out of the school with critical knowledge on how to think. So they could go forward. No child would be left behind. A progressive empowerment party government would make jobs for all. Jobs for all. The headline every single day. Do you have a job? No. Do you want a job? Call us now. Because we want every single person in this country gainfully employed. So we can make sure every single person in this country can own a home. So they can raise their children and their family and take care of their peace of the country and make Trinidad and Tobago work. Everything we have here now is bullshit. A progressive empowerment party government will cancel that madness of the ambulance contract, private contract, and put the ambulances back in the 41 constituencies where they belong. So you don't have to wait an hour and a half and 2 hours for a friggin' ambulance. I know somebody you call an ambulance on a Tuesday, on Wednesday the ambulance people call and say you still need it. What do you ask if they call it for? Jack Spanier bite? It's madness. A progressive empowerment party government will put 24-hour a day, 7-day a week operational accident and emergency healthcare centers within each constituency. So you and your family 15 minutes away from critical healthcare at any time. Better than West Shore, better than St. Clair. Right away. Because that's the country we need to live in. If we could shut down the borders, build the maritime security wall, unstuff the containers on the port, give the police a bounty on the guns that are here when we stop the guns from flowing and get rid, you see, listen, I am sorry, but all of the Venezuelans and all of the Nigerians and all of the Chinese and all of the Arabs and all of the small islanders that are not here legally have to leave. They have to leave. You have to get this country functional, lawful, law-abiding, working for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have more Chinese restaurant and Chinese grocery in this country than anything else. And every time I go in one, I learn a little more Chinese. And I'm not knocking it. But why the people of this country can't get to work? How the people in this country can't get the finance so that they can open the mini-mart? Why it is we taking care of other people's problems and we can't take care of our own? But if we shut down the borders and we stop the drug trade, ISIS training in the country done. Because it's drug money paying for that. And if we shut down the borders and unstuff the containers on the ports, the free flow of arms and ammunition done. So when them fellas running Hacker to rob Hacker, they would have had to come with a slingshot and a cutlass. And we could deal with that. The reality of Trinidad and Tobago is it don't have to make sense. It just have to make noise. And we have to stop that bullshit. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have the power to turn this nation around in our hands. I am not the brightest tool in the shed. There are plenty brighter than me. I am just the bravest, the most courageous, and right now my job is to cut road. We are supposed to lose ground. Arlene Portia Grant and Nikki Lee, I apologize if you all think for in any way I was denigrating Mr. Stark. I had no intention of doing that. I love that boy. As mad as an ass he is, taking off all his clothes on video and all kind of craziness. He's still a nice guy. You could ask Mark Rees. Mark and Stark fall out. And we had bring the two of them together. And we're going to put them on a show. I have no problem whatsoever. And if Stark took it wrong, I apologize. And if Stark is working for people who milking him for their own game, brother, check yourself before you wreck yourself. When them people finish spit you out, you'll have nothing to show for it. Trust me. Trust me. Because they're giving you in one hand and taking with another. It's like when the government say, we just finished wage negotiation. And we gave you a raise, but the inflation gone up at the same point in time. So you get 3% and the cost of living go up 5%. You end up in a worse situation than you start off with. This is a country that needs to be talking about a living wage as base. We need to have a conversation about jobs for all as base. That way, we will bring everybody above the poverty line. The indigent, the unemployable, the dispossessed, the completely broken, the homeless. We have plans for them too. We spoke about Literacy First and a Second Chance Foundation when the UNC government was new. But all of this is yours. All of this is for you. All of this is for you. You could have a better country. You could have a first world nation. You could be living in the best country in the world. Trinidad and Tobago has everything that it needs to be the best country in the world. We could make Dubai shame and America weep. This country, blessed, snow don't fall here. People don't freeze to death. We have the best weather. We're outside the hurricane belt. Why are we not dominating the world? You see the video about Dubai? Dubai didn't rely on oil. Dubai became a shipping capital in the Middle East. Why Trinidad can't be a shipping capital in the Caribbean? Why? Why we don't have the world's biggest yachting and pleasure craft industry in Trinidad and Tobago? It was building. Why did we cut it up? Why? Why don't we have Tobago as a massive cruise ship hub? We don't build no scandals. We don't get involved in nonsense. We don't mash up the island. We don't take no man's land and destroy it. We could fix every single thing in quick time. You don't need Vision 2030 and Vision 2050. Then people have cataract and glaucoma. We have vision to fix this country now. We talk about clean up the police service in 6 months. That's the goal we set for ourselves. We're talking about getting everybody registered, all those who would like to own a home. We say, get yourself registered. Get registered. We need to know your condition, what you can afford. The truth of the matter is you are not going to fix Trinidad and Tobago on your own. And you're not helping yourself fighting the people who are trying to mount the rescue. If we want a better Trinidad and Tobago, the time is beyond now. We've been here for too long. We've been having these conversations for far too long. We've been fighting among ourselves, playing stupid race games. This has been a country divided. This has been a country divided against itself. What it is they say? A family divided itself against itself. A house divided against itself cannot stand. We continue to be a divided house playing racist politics. Afro-Trini, Indo-Trini. Oh gosh man, stop that nonsense. Nowhere on planet Earth do Africans and Indians fight war. Why we have a political problem between them in Trinidad and Tobago. Our truth, as plain for you to see, is that the rape and robbery of this country, the pillage and plunder by the PNM is equaled by that of the UNC. Neither of them should be trusted with your future. We need to fire the PNM, but if you fire the PNM and put the UNC back, that is the textbook definition of insanity. That is making the same mistake, expecting different results.
you're voting, well, you're not out. When you're voting,
vote them out. Mash.
If it is the
We overdue. Kamala, you fail. Keep rolling, you fail. Call them, but you fail. Goodal Munilal, you fail. Faris Alawi, you fail. Anna Ramlovan, you fail. Anna Robert, you fail. Darren Smith, you fail. Fuad Khan, you fail. Terence Alson, you fail. Kim Gopi Singh, you fail. Garcia, you fail. Both of those parties have failed this nation. And if we don't wake up to the reality of our situation, they will take us down. Terminate the reign.
Let's put our country together again.
You're voting them in, and it's only tears as soon as they win.
They give you big words,
They enslave your soul, promising your roads and giving potholes. How you can vote for that?
they are the reason why the economy won't sprout. When you're voting,
Vote them out.
if it is the passing laws
That them alone could flout.
when you're voting, if it is the building eyesores,
East, west, north and south. Yes, that's how you vote them in.
register and totally
Stand up together. One people under one flag.
Put them out with tempo, they have me in pain. Let's put our country
Together again.
Put them out with calypso,
And joyous refrain.
let's put our country together again.
And that is the truth. Too much facts, too much knowledge, too much information. The people are waking up and the PNM and the UNC are panicking. Kamala know it done. Kamala knows she can't bring she drunken, corrupt madness and pass it off as government again. She know the Progressive Empowerment Party will expose her for her bullshit and will expose her on her track record, that of all her 52 government ministers that she hire and fire as one get catch with their pants down. She know that, she know it over. So she had to take UNC money and send shit snakes to attack me. Silence Philip, stop that message, stop the people from waking up. This man making Trinidadians intelligent. This man teaching people what government is for. This man making we irrelevant. That is the Progressive Empowerment Party. The middle word in our name is to empower. My job is to inform, educate, and empower. We do that every night. We do that every Saturday at noon in 19 Stanmore Avenue. We do that at our public meetings. This political party is growing on an election footing. Neither political organization, neither the PNM nor the UNC could tell you that they entertain and host you every single week. We host you every single week, every Saturday at noon. We give up our time, our lives, we give up our opportunities to go and spend time with our family, to make extra money, to get drunk and roll around on the beach and eat shack and make. We give that up to host you every single Saturday since we were formed. The truth of the matter is there is no political organization in this country of the caliber of the Progressive Empowerment Party. We are bringing democracy back. In our second year of life, we are having an internal election. And we've put all positions up for grabs, even political leader, chairman, deputy chairman. The nonsense and the noise on the outside, they're sending for us. We have to develop bulletproof skin. We have to be able to ignore the bullshit. Our members have to see them coming from a mile away and ignore them, and I have to do that too. We're getting better. After the Kim Cole show, 5 people called for interviews, and the PRO tell all 5 you could interview anybody else. You're not getting Philip Alexander. I do a show every night, and that's enough. And the PRO is in charge of that. People call the party, message the party, send all kind of message. We want to meet with Philip. It goes to Dilwood Braffett. He's the National Security Advisor and the head of our internal security. And he says who I meet with. Because the truth of the matter is they're looking to destroy this party. The Progressive Empowerment Party is giving the people of this country hope for the first time in 56 years. In the last 30 years, we've been plundered and pillaged by the madness masquerading as government. And it is time to stop. peptrinbago@gmail.com is the primary email address. Our hotline is 347-4PEP. There is a PEP app, PEP, APP. It's free to download. Our PEP membership cards are coming out. If you're already a member, make sure to touch base with the membership crew so that you know when to come and pick up your card. If you're not yet a member, come and join. It's $20. And we use that $20. It's important to us. It keeps the party going. Come and join. This is the fastest growing political organization in the country history for a reason. Because the people see quality and they understand that this, for the first time, they have political representation. When you come and you sit in a PEP meeting, in a PEP rally, you look around the room and you understand what the framers of the Constitution and the national anthem meant. Here, one people under one flag. Here, every creed finds an equal, every creed and race finds an equal place. We can do this. We could fix this country. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. I know with an absolute certainty, if we were in office tomorrow, Trinidad would start to fix from that day. The job, and right now, the job is getting us from here to there. We have to see all of this madness coming at us and deal with it. We are asking the members and all of the supporters to mobilize and evangelize. Squash the attacks. Don't take on the bullshit. Kill them with kindness. Take our message, our issues. They can't deal with that. They can't deal with the fact that there is a political organization willing to tell the people that everything in this country could be fixed. Here's how. And if you don't want to vote for us, go back to your party that you support with this and ask them, why you didn't think about that? The truth of the matter is, this is your country. Don't let them distract you with foolishness. Don't be distracted by shiny baubles. That didn't work for the natives when Columbus came. Don't let it work for you. We must stand together, one people under one flag, and demand a better nation. It is within our grasp. And right now, all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, especially the sufferers, because tell Kamala, miss me with her bullshit. It is I who's talked to the sufferers every single time I have a video. It is I who's called the names of all the hard-pressed communities. She was prime minister. She did fire truck all for them, so she could miss me with her shit. I can't wait to see them on a campaign trail. God bless them. If we end up in a debate, we will open them up for the country to see. We will hang them on their track record. The PNM and the UNC has been a blight on this nation, and we must bring them to justice. Until we see you all tomorrow, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.